Hi, AP students. It's Mrs. Ulsis from the Counseling Center, and we are almost to AP exams of 2025. So, all the work that you have been putting in over these last few months getting prepared for your exams, it's all about to culminate in taking your exams in the month of May. So, today I am here to make sure that you have everything you need to be fully prepared for your day of testing. All right, so we have created a WHS AP website with a lot of information for you. And you can find this AP website on either your student portal or you can find it on your Canvas dashboard. On that website, first and foremost, you're going to see a full schedule of the AP exams. This will have the specific start times as well as testing locations. So you want to make sure that you really look at that schedule and know where and when your tests are going to be. Second, we've got some information on the digital exams as well as the hybrid exams. And so you can watch some videos from the College Board that explains exactly how these exams are going to run. And then also you can find how you can send your scores to your chosen college. So for you seniors, if you've chosen a college, you get to send your AP scores to one college for free. And it will show you, there's a quick video on exactly how to do this in your AP account. All right, so this year, most of our AP exams are going digital. And you may have been hearing about this. Hopefully, your teachers have been talking about it. And so let's talk a little bit about what that looks like. So, for the vast majority of our tests, they're going to be either digital or hybrid exams. And so, for those of you who are taking a fully digital exam, that means everything is going to be in the Blue Book app, your test, your multiple choice section, as well as your free response questions. Every student has the Blue Book app on their Chromebook. And so you're going to obviously need to have your Chromebook on the day of testing as well as your charging cord. For those of you who are taking hybrid exams, that means that your multiple choice part is going to be completely done on your Chromebook. But your second section, that free response, is going to be you're going to be writing paper and pencil, but all of your questions will be on your Chromebook in that Blue Book app. So one thing to know about the Blue Book app, you've all been in the Blue Book app before, whether it's through the PSAT or SAT, you're all familiar with that test platform. But for the PSAT and SAT, we gave you a test ticket in order to be able to sign in. But for AP exams, you are going to use your College Board login, and you absolutely must know your College Board login on the day of the exam. You're not going to be able to access your Google Password Manager. You're not going to be able to check out what your password is on your phone. You have to know it. So please make sure that you practice that you memorize your login, or else you will not be able to take your exam on that day. So a couple things again, make sure you know your login information. And number two, make sure you bring your fully charged Chromebook and your charging cord on the day of exams. So here on this screen, we have a list of which exams are fully digital, which are hybrid, and which are still paper and pencil. So you can again see which test you are going to be taking. And that paper and pencil exam. So for all of you who are taking French, Spanish, German, or music theory, nothing has changed for you. It's going to be the same as it ever was. You're going to be taking the majority of your test paper and pencil. However, you will still need your Chromebook because you are going to have that speaking portion of your exam. And there's a specific app on your Chromebook that you're going to be using to record. We're going to practice this in your classes within that week or so before testing. So I'll tell you all about it later. All right, so taking the AP exams. Again, be sure to check the WHS AP schedule on that website to make sure that you know exactly when and where your tests are being given. Now, something to note about start times. For morning exams, they will all begin at 8 a.m. and you need to arrive at 7:45 a.m. Obviously, this before school starts, so you're going to need to have transportation. Even on late start Wednesdays, your tests will begin at 8 a.m. and you need to arrive at 7:45. Now, so for your afternoon exams, most of them will start at noon and you'll need to arrive at your test location at 11:45. However, in some instances, we have shifted back the start time to 12:30 so that we can allow the morning test to be done and the room to get turned over for the next test. Still arrive 15 minutes early. If we can start it earlier, we will, but some of the afternoon exams might be starting at 12:30. Please note those times on the schedule. So a couple other things. No early dismissals. You may not leave your test for an appointment, for work, for after school practice. So if you have a long running test and it goes till 4 o'clock, which some tests may do so, you need to let your employer, your coach, anybody know about that, because you cannot leave an exam early. So just know that you cannot leave an exam until everyone has submitted and your proctors have dismissed you. All right, lunch is on testing days. This always gets a little tricky, and you're just going to have to kind of roll with it. So most morning testers should be done in plenty of time for C lunch. Then you're going to eat that lunch and return to your classes for fourth and fifth period. For afternoon testers on most days, if you have A or B lunch, you can eat during that lunchtime and still have plenty of time to get to your testing location by that, 11:45, 12 o'clock time. Then you're going to head to testing. To your test time. If you have C lunch, you are going to be dismissed from your class, or you're going to have to leave that class early to eat for B lunch and then go to testing. Okay. So you might have to remind your third period teacher, hey, I'm testing AP today. I need to leave a little bit early for lunch. Now on Wednesday afternoons, since we've got that late start and the schedules are shifted a little bit, for you afternoon testers, you might have to leave your second period about 15 minutes early, get to lunch, and then get ready and head to your testing to be on time. It is super important that you are on time for testing, because again, we've got lots of students taking these exams. We want the morning students to start on time so that we can have the rooms available for the afternoon times. And know if you are late for testing, if that test has already started, you may not join testing. Okay. So once that test begins, if you're late, it's too late. You've missed your exam. So make sure that you are there on time. Okay, like I said, start on time. You need to get there to your test locations 15 minutes prior to the start of test time. Okay, so I've already said this. I won't reiterate it anymore. Be on time. All right, okay, again, to be prepared with your Chromebook and your charger. Bring some sharpened pencils, because you will have scratch paper that you'll be able to work out problems or make notes on. Bring a black or blue ink pen for your hybrid exams if you want to write in your free response booklet in black or blue ink. Bring snacks and water for breaks. You're going to come into your room, you're going to put those under your desk. You can have them during break time. At no point at all during testing are you allowed to have water or snacks on your table, but you may have them for break. Now, for those of you with tests that are applicable to this, you can bring an approved calculator. There is a calculator, a Desmos calculator built into your testing platform in the Blue Book. But if you'd like to bring your own, you may do so. Obviously, for those of you in stats, you're going to need your special stats calculator, so make sure you bring that. Once you get to the testing room, make sure that all devices are turned off. That includes cell phones. They must be turned off, put in your backpack, and stored at the back of the room. You may not have your cell phone on you at any time during testing. Same thing with wearable devices. No smartwatches, no AirPods, nothing that can access the internet can be allowed during AP testing. All of that needs to be turned completely off, not just on vibrate, completely turned off in your backpacks and put away. Finally, there is a new rule from College Board that you may not wear a brimmed hat. And if you have a hoodie, it cannot be up. Your hoodie has to be down. So you may not wear any hats or hoodies during the test. And like I mentioned before, you have to stay the entire length of the exam. So some of these tests are long and some do run past 3:39, the end of the school day. So please make sure that your coaches and your teachers and your employers know about this, and make sure that you have transportation available after testing. All right, so sometimes students have two exams on the same day, and there are two different situations. First is if you have a morning and an afternoon exam. So if, for instance, you have biology in the morning and microecon in the afternoon, that happens. It happens every year, and we're going to roll with it, okay? But to be prepared for it, first, know that we are not going to start the afternoon exam without you. If you are still testing, if your test ran a little bit late and you haven't been dismissed from testing, we are not going to start the afternoon exam without you, okay? But once you're done with that test, you're going to want to eat your lunch, have a snack. We suggest that you bring your own lunch as opposed to going through the cafeteria line. You may not have a lot of time in between. So you might only have 10 or 15 minutes to have that snack, to have that lunch, and then to get to your next test. Okay. So be prepared with plenty of snacks, be prepared with your lunch. Don't dawdle in between. Okay. If you're running late because of a test, that's fine. If you're running late because you're wandering the building, that's not okay. And we will start without you. Okay. So make sure that you get from your morning, afternoon, or morning exam to your afternoon exam in a timely manner. So some of you actually have 2 exams scheduled for the exact same date and time. So say you're scheduled for a May 13th, 8 a.m. exam for 2 different exams. If that is the case, I have already shifted one of your exams to late testing, and I've moved that in AP registration ordering. I've also Canvas messaged you. So you should have that information already, and you should see that new test date in your Blue Book app as well as in your AP classroom. So you should already know about that, okay? All right, some of you may have testing accommodations, and you will see this in your Blue Book app. And I've also sent a message to all of your parents and to your school Gmail account about testing accommodations. For students with testing accommodations, your testing location may be all throughout the building. We want students with accommodations to arrive in the counseling center at either 7:45 a.m. for morning testing or 11:45 in the afternoon. Okay, so for the afternoon test. So even if you have one of those exams that got shifted to 12:30, you are still going to show up here at 11:45 so that we can start your test at 12 p.m. Okay, so make sure that you're here in the counseling center at either 7:45 or 11:45 for your tests. Now, you can opt out of your accommodations, and this was in the email that I just sent out to parents and to your school Gmail account. You may opt out of them with a signed note from your parent. There was a form that I attached to that. You may not opt out on the day of the exam. So if you do not want your extended time any longer, or you don't need any of your College Board approved accommodations, you can opt out of them, but not on the day of the test. It needs to be submitted to me in writing with your parent signature by April 15th. Okay. However, something new that has happened with College Board testing is they now allow you to move on to the next section once you've hit standard time. So if you don't need all of your extended time, you can move forward and you can actually finish your exam as long as you've met standard time. And if you are done testing, you've already submitted your exam, you may quietly leave the testing room. This is only for students with accommodations, not for standard time students. You may leave the testing room once you are done and once your exam has been submitted. If you have any questions about this, please see me, okay? Because I want to make sure that all of this goes smoothly for you. All right, so on the day of testing, how you find your seat. If you are in one of those standard time rooms. So seating for AP exams must be random. We cannot have you seated alphabetically per College Board security guidelines. Students must be seated randomly in the testing room. So outside of your testing room, we are going to have posters with seating assignments. So find your name and then find your seating number. Once you go into that testing room, you will see on the desks for every student, there's going to be this sheet, and it's going to have your name, which AP exam you're taking, and it's going to have your seat number in it. So you're going to look for your name and your seat number, and you're going to have a seat. You are going to get your Chromebook out. You are going to take, again, all of your cell phones, your smartwatches, everything, put it in your backpack, move it to the back of the room away from testing. Your snacks and your water are going to go under your seat. You're going to get your Chromebook out, your pencils, your calculator, and you are going to open up Blue Book before even the proctors tell you to do so, okay? On your testing sheet is going to be all of your instructions. Open up Blue Book app, log into your College Board account, continue through all of the screens, and you can enter in your room code. Okay. So that way your proctors know that you're there. They know that you're in that testing room and that they can mark you present. Okay. So once everybody logs in, then the proctors can finish reading the instructions and they can get that start code to everyone. So you do not have to wait for everybody to get seated and for your proctors to start making announcements. Get your stuff put away, sit down, get your Chromebook out, start reading those instructions, and start getting logged in. Because again, the sooner that we have everybody ready for testing, the sooner that we can start. And that makes sure that all of those afternoon tests get started on time as well. Okay. All right. So late testing exams. So for some students, they may have to take a late testing exam. So again, if you had 2 or more exams on that day at the same time, you're going to have late testing exam. We expect every student to take their exam during regular testing, whether that's through May 5th through 16th, those first 2 full weeks of May. Students are expected to take their AP exams on that initial date of testing. If for some reason something pops up, you need to contact me ahead of your test date. And there are only specific reasons why a student might test late. Obviously, one of those might be illness. So if you are not going to make it to your AP test because you are ill, I need to get a parent email or medical documentation, and I need to hear from you within 2 days of your initially scheduled exam so I can order you a new exam for late testing. And we'll go over some examples of what constitutes late testing and what is not considered a reasonable excuse for late testing. But if there's a reason for you to do late testing, I need to hear about it ahead of time. If you're sick, I need to hear from your parent at least, and you within 2 days of your initial missed test. Okay, something to know about late testing. The late testing exams are scheduled very specifically through College Board, and we cannot waver from them. This year, they are scheduled for the exact same dates as our Westfield final exams. So again, this is a reason why you definitely want to be there for your initial testing date. Because if you have to take a late exam and it conflicts with a final exam, you are then going to have to come in after school is let out in May and take your Westfield final exams after those dates. Okay. Your AP exam takes priority and your late testing for final exams will happen afterwards. For you seniors, AP late testing can conflict with graduation rehearsal. And there are a couple that are going to be on the afternoon of graduation. And so you absolutely don't want to miss your initial test date because otherwise you could be missing out on graduation rehearsal. So there's all sorts of conflicts. It's really important that you're just here for your initial test date, that May 5th through 16th test date. Okay. So again, there are approved reasons for late testing. So if you have a school-sponsored academic or athletic contest, and this can happen every year, whether it's state track or state golf or something like that, you need to notify me ahead of time if you are going to have to do late testing. Again, serious injury, illness, family tragedy, or emergency, just reach out to me. Religious holidays, obviously. Court appearance with documentation, 2 or more exam dates on the same date and same time. Reasons that are not approved for late testing. You just don't feel prepared for the exam, so you want to take it later. That is not an approved reason. You forgot about your exam. So I think it would be very difficult after all year preparing for your exam to forget that you have an exam on Tuesday, May 6th, but it happens every year. Forgetting about your exam is not an approved reason for taking a late exam. Neither is oversleeping or arriving after the test begins. Your work schedule is not an approved reason for late testing. You need to notify your bosses, your coaches, your employers days ahead of time that you cannot be there if you have an afternoon exam that conflicts with your work. You know the dates. These dates have been out for over a year. We've had them on this website for over a year. You need to contact your employers. Family vacation, that is not an approved reason, and you will not be able to do late testing if your family books a vacation during your initial AP exam date. All right, so that's it. That's most of the information that you need to know to be prepared on exam day. But some things that you can be doing now. Again, seniors, you can go into your AP account and request to have your score report sent to your chosen college. You get one score report sent for free. They will wait until all of your scores from this May are scored in July, and then they will send out your whole AP score history. So even if you took AP exams in freshman, sophomore, junior year, they will send your newest ones from this May, as well as all of your previous ones. You can practice getting into your Blue Book and practice in the testing platform. I would advise practice logging into your College Board account without any notes or without any Google password managers. Practice getting into your Blue Book app and then practice going into that testing platform before your date. And again, memorize your username and password. I cannot stress that enough. You must know it for the exam. And again, one final reminder, Chromebook and charging cord. Fully charged Chromebook, you absolutely must have, and then your charging cord, okay? Bring those as well. And I think that's it. So if you have any questions or comments or concerns, please reach out to me. You can all send me a Canvas message, or you can shoot me an email, or just stop into the counseling center. I know it's a lot of information, but I want to make sure that your testing date goes smoothly. You've worked hard, you've prepared hard, and now we just want to make sure that this last part of your AP class goes well. So please let me know if you need anything. Thanks and have a great day.